Hello, it is I are Smart, and I've just had Spider-Man on my mind a lot lately. Probably because of, the new Spider-Man, Spider-Man No Way Home, which was amazing. You should go watch it, and you should also watch my review on it, because it's amazing, too. I'm actually going to go see it again tomorrow, because it's such a good movie. I love it so much. Anyway, that's beyond the point. I could make a Star Wars video, like this new Mando Star Wars shirt. It's pretty cool, Even if he did kill stormtroopers, he's still pretty cool. But, anyway, that's beyond the point. Today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man Trilogy, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. Because, while I love those movies, they're just iconic. They're so quotable, they're very fun, and they're just well put together movies, I gotta say. There's some flaws in them, and that's mainly what we're going to be talking about today. Because there's one character in particular I hate her, alright? You already saw it in the title. It's Mary Jane. I hate Mary Jane so much. She's the worst character. I cannot understand why Peter wants to be with her. There are zero reasons, like literally zero reasons why he should be with her. She is the worst character. Literally any other character would be a better choice to go out with Peter Parker. But no. Alright? So we're just gonna get into this, alright? We're just gonna start listing off reasons, alright? So Spider-Man 1, right? First Spider-Man movie, alright? For whatever reason, we're introduced to Peter Parker, and he has this crush on Mary Jane. For whatever reason, despite the fact that she's dating Flash Thompson. And it's kind of showed later that the only reason she's really dating Flash is because he's the biggest, buffest guy at school, and because he has a car. Those are the only reasons she's dating him. Because later, when they graduate, Flash tries to propose, and she's like, "You commitment? No, I don't want that. Why would I actually want to be with you, Flash?" And gets rid of him. Because that's how Mary Jane is. So, yeah, she's just awful, alright? That's the first movie we see of her. And then we just see that Peter's just, into her for some reason. I cannot figure out why. Honestly, imagine going for a redhead. That's just ugh, jeez. Anyway, so, I don't get that. She's not even that good looking. Sorry, she isn't. I'm just gonna say it. Someone had to say it. Mary Jane is not good looking. At all. I don't see it. And so she has this dream of being an actress or a stage performer or something, despite not being good at it all. Peter literally was like, "Oh, I liked it when in 6th grade you were in that play or whatever," and she's like, "What the heck?" So obviously she has this whole delusion in her head of wanting to be an actress, but that's beyond the point. So next up, Peter decides, hey, if I get a car, then Mary Jane will want to like me. Because she only starts noticing him because he takes his glasses off once he gets his Spider-Man powers. So she only takes an interest in him once he becomes buff and that sort of thing. So anyway, she starts dating Harry, because according to Harry, sorry, you never made a move, Peter. So whatever, that's kind of just Harry being a jerk, but whatever. So she starts dating him, probably because she realizes that he's rich, because he's Osborn, the Osborn company or whatever. So she's on to that whole thing. And then Spider-Man saves her, and she's like, you know what? Spider-Man saved me for twice. This is the second time. And then they do the upside-down kiss, which is iconic. I think it's just dumb and impractical, because one person's like this, and the other person's like, that's just dumb. How are you going to do that? So anyway, she kisses Spider-Man in an alley where it's raining and all that stuff, because whatever. And she's basically just cheating on Harry already. Doesn't tell Harry about this. So what the heck? And then she meets with Peter, in the hospital where Aunt May is literally dying. She doesn't actually die, but she was in the hospital because Goblin blew her up. So anyway, yeah, so now she's here, and she's just talking about wow, it'd be so cool if I could date Spider-Man. Well, she's actively dating Harry. And before they kind of break up after this because Harry sees that she's hanging out with Peter. But whatever. So anyway, for whatever reason, Peter describes how he talked to Spider-Man, who said that it was weird. She was like, "Hey, what did Spider-Man say about me?" And Peter was like, "Well, he told me that he said that you have really pretty eyes." And then they fall in love, I guess? I don't know. So whatever. We're going to move on to the next movie now, because at the end of it, she tries to get together with him, and he's like, "You know what? Nah, I'm not going to, because I'm Spider-Man." And then she's all sad, because she wants to date Peter. So anyway, then we get to the next movie, and we find out that Mary Jane has moved on from Peter, and now she's with this astronaut guy. However, Peter just randomly decided, hey, I'm going to try and be with Mary Jane again, because why the heck not? Alright, seriously, why? I cannot wrap my head around this. He had the opportunity to go with her, but he was like, nah, I'm not going to do it, because I don't want her to die. And then he's like, actually, no, I don't want to date her anyway. So then, I cannot understand why he would date Mary Jane. She's the worst. Alright, so she has this new boyfriend. Literally an astronaut, alright? Like, the coolest guy, alright? Obviously, he's gonna have a ton of money because he's an astronaut and he's the son of J. Jonah Jameson, who's the editor-in-chief at the Daily Bugle. So again, she's dating a guy because he has money. And she's avoiding Peter because he doesn't have money. Because he's Peter Parker and he's broke. So anyway, she's now engaged to this guy. And throughout the entire movie, she's just playing with Peter's feelings. Of like, oh, you know, I like you, Peter, but like you don't come to any of my shows. And he's like, okay, I'll try to come to one of your shows. And then he tries to go there and he gets kicked out. And he's like, you didn't come to my show, you're the worst, I'm never going to date you. And he's like, no, gosh dang it. So then he finally does show up once he gives up being Spider-Man. And she's like, oh, well cool, you showed up to my show, but that doesn't mean anything. And he's like, what the heck? Oh my god, she's the worst. She's so bad. And then like one of her friends is like, hey, you should date Peter. It's a really weird scene in Spider-Man 2, whatever. Look, everything is great about the Spider-Man movies except Mary Jane. Like the stuff with Peter and the villains, Doc Ock and Goblin, that's such good stuff. But then you just have Mary Jane. Like, I just want to fast forward these parts when I rewatch these movies because I could not care less about her character. She's the worst. I hate her so much. Anyway, so there's this whole thing now, right? I cannot wrap my head around this. Then she's with this guy and actively like goes to meet Peter at a bar and actively tries to say, hey, tries to get Peter to say I love you, and then tries to kiss him while literally showing off the ring that she's engaged to this astronaut guy. And then like literally on the day, and then like she finds out Peter's Spider-Man, whoop-de-doo, and she puts it all together and is like, well, now that I know he's Spider-Man, now I know I really want to go out with him. I don't want to just mess with him anymore, I actually want to go out with him. So on the day of her wedding with this astronaut guy, she leaves. Because screw this astronaut guy, whatever. So she leaves on the wedding day and goes to be with Peter. That's just okay? Are we as the audience supposed to see that as like a good thing? Like, oh, they're supposed to be together. I don't care. No, they're not. They're not supposed to be together. So finally we get to Spider-Man 3, and we again see that MJ is a failing actress, because she just sucks. She isn't good at anything. She can't be an actress because she sucks at singing and whatever. She got her own show at Broadway, but they literally kicked her out. She was so bad at her Broadway that after her first show, they replaced her because she was that bad. So anyway, then she goes and complains to Peter, and Peter's like, hey, I get it. I've had, you're just going to have tough critics. You just got to, deal with that. And he actually tries to give her genuinely good advice. He says, hey, this is kind of like when I'm Spider-Man. Not everyone likes me, but I still do what I do because that's who I am. And she's like, this isn't about you. This is about me. That's literally a line she says in the movie. It's the most, like, what? Huh? What is this most one-sided relationship she's trying to get? She just wants Peter to just be there, and she just wants to go cheat on him anyway. And then she goes and cheats with Harry, literally willingly. This is before Harry, becomes the Goblin again. She just willingly cheats with Harry, because why not? And then Peter's all over the place. He wants to try and make it up, so he does something nice. Gets the wedding, not the wedding, the meal together at that fancy restaurant, and then we get introduced again to the Gwen character. Gwen is amazing. She is perfect in every way. We'll get to her later. So anyway, Gwen is just going up like, oh, hi, Pete. We have a lab class. Crazy seeing you here. It's so nice to see you. And she's just being friendly and talking with him. And Peter's just like, yeah, okay. I'm on a date here. But nice to see you. And then she's like, what? You talked to a girl that wasn't me? I'm leaving you, Peter. And then she runs out of there all whiny. Like, what the heck? To be fair, Peter did, while he was Spider-Man, he did kiss Gwen, which is kind of weird. That's kind of on him, to be honest. But still, Mary Jane was just all super upset about it. Like, that was our kiss. That was our special thing. Why is she so emotional? Like, stop having emotions. I don't care about them. Anyway. So then what happens is she breaks up with Peter because I forget why Harry made her. Spider-Man 3 has a weird plot, alright? So then they go and they break up, and then Peter becomes Bully Maguire and he starts dating Gwen, which he should have done just from the beginning. She is so much better. Anyway, then Mary Jane goes off and works at a bar because that's all she can really do. And then Peter literally just punches her, which is pretty funny, honestly. One of my favorite parts of the entire trilogy. He finally punches Mary Jane, and she just falls on the ground. It's like, oh, finally. Jeez, I have bad humor. Anyway, so then at the end they do whatever. She gets captured by Eddie Brock, and they whatever, it's just, yeah, then they get back together, and it's like, yay, they finally got together. That is until she cheats on him again. Like, seriously. She just manipulates Peter into doing, especially in Spider-Man 2. She's the worst in Spider-Man 2, but she's also just annoying in Spider-Man 3. She just manipulates Peter, trying to, like, get at his feelings, like, oh, you want to be with me, right? Yeah, you want to. Yeah, but I'm not going to let you, because I'm going to go with this other guy, and then I'm going to break up with him to be with you, and then once I'm with you, I'm going to break up with you. She literally cheats on someone in every movie. In the first movie, she cheats on Harry with Spider-Man. Second one, she cheats on the astronaut with Peter. And in the third one, she cheats on Peter with Harry. Like, she can't. She is a compulsive cheater. She can't not cheat. It's whatever. So now we're going to look at some other options for Peter. Hopefully he considers these and picks a better girlfriend. First off, Gwen Stacy. Obviously, this is the best choice. This is literally top tier girlfriend for Peter Parker, right? Because, alright, Gwen is amazing, alright? I could get into, like, Amazing Spider-Man 2, but that's a different character. That's, like, a different Gwen. We're talking about the Gwen Stacy from Spider-Man 3, alright? So she's in the lab, so they both know each other because they're both lab partners. So she's also, like, intelligent, you know, at, like, a college science, you know, the high-level science, which Mary Jane didn't. She just has a basic high school education. Doesn't even consider, pursue a college career, because apparently those aren't important or anything. So anyway, you know, Gwen Stacy is actually, like, intelligent and that sort of thing. Alright, actually good looking, alright, like, you know, the nice hair and everything, actually, like, you know, is good looking. I don't know what else to say. Look, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. Like, there's Daisy Ridley and there's everyone else, right? I can't compare, right? I cannot compare to this, so I'm not the right person to talk about this. But, but I can, like, tell the little bit difference that Gwen's better than MJ in terms of appearance. I don't know, guys. I don't know how to talk about this. So whatever. Gwen is just better, alright? She actually cares about Peter. She actually wants to talk to him. And, you know, all this stuff. And that's the only guy she goes out with through the entire movie. Like, she doesn't ever actually date Eddie. She's like, oh yeah, they went to coffee one time, but that was it. And she just politely lets him go and says, sorry, Eddie, I don't want to date you, sorry. She's all nice about it instead of just, you know, cheating on him or breaking up with him like Mary Jane would. So anyway, then she goes with, then she's hanging out with Bully Maguire. We're just gonna call him Bully Maguire because it's easy to distinguish when Peter has the Venom suit. He's Bully Maguire. So, you know, he does his dance and everything, and then he goes out with, Gwen. Mainly just to, you know, annoy Eddie. You know, he really is just trying to ruin Eddie's life in this movie. So anyway, he goes out with Gwen, and Gwen is actually like, oh, isn't that your old girlfriend? Do you want to leave? And he's like, nah, it's fine. So she's actually, like, considering, you know, how Peter's feeling. Something something Mary Jane never did. And then, as she realizes that she was being used just to get back at Mary Jane, you know, because Peter was just trying to show off, like, hey, look, I'm with Gwen now, because I don't like you, Mary Jane, because he was being all evil and stuff. It was weird. Again, Spider-Man 3 has a weird plot. So anyway, even then, even after she realized she was just being used, she forgives both of them. She's like, sorry, Mary Jane, and sorry to Peter. Like, what? How, she's just perfect. She's amazing. And Peter should have just stayed with her. Like, honestly, he should have just forgotten the whole going to meet Mary Jane thing. Just ignore her, and just stay with Gwen. It would have been so much better. Anyway, another option, Betty Brant. I mean, she just works at the Daily Bugle, but she's at least nice to Peter, you know? She seems, like, friendly and helpful and all that sort of thing, and actually seems to care. Again, things Mary Jane never did. Another option is Ursula, who's really good at baking. You know, she's the daughter of the guy who makes Peter give him rent. So, yeah, Ursula, she's, like, actually, like, gives him cake and stuff, actually, like, cares about him, wants to talk with him. Again, we don't see Mary Jane ever do this. Like, literally anybody. Just pick anybody other than Mary Jane. She's the worst hater. Like, there have been other adaptations of Mary Jane that I've liked better. Like, I mean, in the original comics, it's like a whole thing. I don't know much about the original comics, I will admit. But even like the MCU, they made her so much better. Because, like, they kind of got the best of both worlds, of both Gwen and Mary Jane. They kind of just combined her into the MCU MJ, played by Zendaya, who did a really good job, I gotta say, especially, like, in the new movie. It's very good, because you see, like, both the intelligent side of Gwen and the... What are the pros of Mary Jane? I don't know. She has the name of Mary Jane. She's basically just Gwen, but with Mary Jane's name. So that's what MCU MJ is. So yeah, it's just... She actually, like, you know, cares about Peter, and is actually intelligent, figures out that he's Spider-Man, instead of just, like, I don't know, being told, or just being like, oh, wow, look at that, I kissed Spider-Man. No, she actually, like, says, hey Peter, I think you're Spider-Man. Am I right? And he's like, yeah. So, I don't know. I thought that was cool. That was a cool bit in Far From Home. Because it kind of just showed, like, she's competent, she can figure things out, and she's a good choice for Peter. So, good job, Tom Holland Spider-Man. You got a good pick there. Also, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Yeah, Andrew Garfield Gwen is a really good character. Very well developed. Unfortunately, she had a bit of a snap. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. I hope you learned something. You probably already figured out that Gwen is just an awful character, because she is. I mean, not Gwen. No, Gwen is an amazing character. Mary Jane is an awful character, and I hate her. She's the worst. Honestly, my least favorite part of the Spider-Man trilogy. Like, I love that trilogy, but I just cannot stand Mary Jane. I'll just fast forward all those parts, because I don't want to listen to her complain. It's just, she's the worst. She just cheats on Peter. Like, why? Anyway, let me know what you thought. I just feel like ranting about. I love ranting about stuff. It's just what I do best. I rant about things, guys. So ranting about Mary Jane. New video coming up Wednesdays and Sundays. That's when I upload videos. Please like and subscribe. Watch my videos. Just do whatever, guys. We've just been kind of sitting here. Do I actually have to tell you to subscribe? Because I've heard apparently that actually makes people subscribe by telling you to subscribe. Like, it's free. You can just do it. So if you could, it'd be very cool. But anyway, bye. Hope to see you later. Hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to go watch Spider-Man No Way Home again, because it's amazing. Anyway, bye.